We have customer who is the very basis of the business existence, right? So customer is the crux of all the marketing activity. The very own purpose of doing business is to ensure that you are selling products to customers and ensuring that they're satisfied with what you're offering and they repeat the sales and your profit gets continuous. So the continuous flow of revenue happens. But what happens in a situation where you have not understood your target market well? It means the customers to whom you want to sell the products, you don't have a proper understanding of those customers. And invariably, you have already launched the product in the market or you've already offered, right? It can be a product or a service, but customer did not like it. Customer is not convinced with your offer. In a situation like this, what will happen? In a situation like this, your product will fail and product failure will have severe implication on your overall business performance. And in case if you're offering one limited product and if that's your only product, then your entire business will also fail. So that's where you need to have a thorough understanding of your customers. Now, recently I was doing a research on the OTT platforms. Me and some of my students are involved in this activity. And I did figure out of late why some of the OTT platforms are not doing well in India. And one of the OTT platform which has terribly failed to attract, to lure Indian customers. Any guesses? Who am I referring to? An OTT platform that has not able to understand Indian consumers well. Complete failure of understanding what exactly Indian customer wants. I mean, there are many other OTT platforms who have reasonably done well. OTT business itself is quite challenging in a country like India, but despite of that, some platforms continue to do well, whereas this company has terribly failed. So I am referring to, okay, there is some answer. Yes, I am referring to Netflix. Why Netflix has turned out to be a company which has completely failed in understanding Indian market, right? Now, some of you have already shared your answers, which might seems to be an appropriate one. But let's do a little more scrutiny. First, let's understand the dynamics of Indian customers, right? Uh, when Netflix ventured into Indian market, it had a ambition of having 100 million subscribers, and that was the target set by the co-founder. His name is Reed Hastings. But now the top management is totally frustrated, totally dissatisfied with the kind of response what it has got in Indian market. And one of the reasons attributed to this is lack of understanding of Indian customers. Now, first, let's talk about the per capita income. Let's forget about the rural India because rural India is not even a target market for Netflix. Because the people who are living in cities, the average monthly income of all those educated people who are living in cities comes around somewhere 32,000. And this is as per the research which was done by Azim Premji University. And of course, COVID pandemic did help boost the sales of not just Netflix, but other platforms also. But still, Netflix is way far from its target. Now, one of the reasons is lack of understanding of the profile of Indian customers. The per capita income is low, the disposable income is low. And on top of that, you're charging premium prices. Now, if you want to attract large pool of customers, if you want your product to become a mass marketing product, then of course, as somebody has pointed out in the chat box, you need to focus on the costs, on the price. But the funny thing about Netflix is that it is offering a competitive price in a developed economy like US. But in a developing economy like India, it is charging a premium price. That's something which is quite funny. Because when you do a comparison between Netflix and Prime Video in USA, they both are charging somewhere around $10, right? They're charging around $10 per month. I'm not talking about per annum. Per month, they're charging somewhere around $10. But when Netflix entered into India, the kind of pricing what they have set itself is, you can easily make out that it will not be successful. The plans varied from 6,000 to 11,000 rupees. Who will invest 11,000 rupees for streaming service, especially in a country like India where content is available free on internet? You want to watch the latest movie, it's there on torrent. All you have to do is download it, right? Because we do have a lot of regulations pertaining to piracy, but they're not efficiently implemented. So you get a lot of content free. You don't need any streaming service like Netflix or Amazon. The moment the movie is released, you get the cam rips, then you get Blu-ray, all sorts of content you get. That itself is a challenge. Unlike in USA, you go to jail, but in India, you don't go to jail, right? So first of all, who's bothered to watch as to who's uploading video on internet? It's impossible. So the mechanism itself is not suitable. On top of that, premium price. So Netflix strategy has not worked in India as of now because they are never going to offer a kind of price which is required to appeal to the masses. In fact, last December, just last month, they had cut down their prices by almost 60%. And they came up with a new plan, 149 rupees per month for mobile only. And for TV subscription, it was somewhere between 200 to 700 rupees per month. Right? Earlier it was 800 per month, so they reduced to 650 per month. But still, it is coming. The cost is coming around somewhere between 3,000 to 8,000, which is again very high in comparison with the other competitors. Look at the other competitors. Look at Amazon Prime, right? Only 999 rupees. Even though they have increased it to 1,500 now, but still during discounts and promotional offers, you can easily buy 999. And it's a package. It's not just you're getting video streaming services. There are other things that are also attached to it, which is not in case of Netflix. If you pay 999 in Amazon, right, you get Prime Video. On top of that, you get Prime membership where you get faster deliveries. You get Prime Music. There are so many other benefits attached to the main package. And the best of all these competitors, according to me, is Disney Hotstar, because Disney Hotstar has struck the right chord. They have different packages, which is more appealing to Indian kind of a mentality, right? So you get to watch all your favorite Hollywood, Bollywood movies, and Hollywood movies are offered in different languages, right? You get to watch the TV shows. On top of that, you get to watch the most popular sport and loved sport in India, and that is cricket. What else you want? So Hotstar seems to be doing extremely well in this platform, not because of the kind of package what they are giving, but also for the price what they are charging. It is creating value, and that's what I said in my earlier lectures also, that if you want to survive in a country like India, you have to create customer value. Premium pricing will not work. Even if you charge premium pricing, you need to offer value for that, and that is something which Netflix has completely failed to do it, because it did not understand the mindset, the attitude of Indian customer at all. And of course, you also have some of the other players like ZEE5, Woot, Balaji. Even these people are doing fairly well, right? So that's the reason why you need to focus on understanding the customer first. The moment you fail to understand customer, and after launching the product, you're trying to match your product with customer, it doesn't work. First you understand the customer, then you design your offer. Only then you will succeed. Now, in order to do this, in order to understand customer well, in order to ensure that customer likes and gets satisfied with what you're offering, there is a analysis which you need to do, and this is called 5W analysis. And this analysis has a lot of questions, but it does gives you a very impacting output. The moment you answer all these questions, automatically you'll get a picture in which you have comprehensive understanding of your customer. So let's see what are these questions, because the moment you get to see some of these questions, you will automatically get to know what is that I'm trying to convey and how important is this 5W model for customer analysis. So the first set of questions begins with who, and this first main question itself is so important. It is a simple question, but if you answer this, you get a lot of insights. Who are our current and potential customers? Because most of the time, businesses do focus on their current, while little attention is paid to the potential or the prospective customers. So in the context of St. Joseph's College, let's talk about St. Joseph's College. technically, who are our current customers? Our current customers are students who fall in the age group of 18 to 21 years for UG program, 21 to 23 years for PG programs. And these are the students who are sponsored by their parents. The parents pay their fees. These students study, and their exclusive task in itself is to focus on their studies. They have no other commitment, they have no other burden on them. So these are our current customers. But who else can be our customer? So that's a question which I had raised a couple of years back, and some of my friends along with me in one of the board meetings. And we did came up with a solution that why can't we offer a program which is exclusively designed for working professionals who have already completed their graduation but still want to learn something, still want to gain some insights, which would help them in grow in their professional career, which can add some value to their professional career. And that's the reason we decided to offer this so-called MBA training program. So we did ask this question in the year 2012, and we got an answer. And now you have again become our current customers. So potentially you have become current. Now, after which we have not asked this question again. So probably when we ask who else we can offer, probably we might, come up with some idea. Because the more often you ask this question, you're adding on more number to your customer base. You're actually expanding your market. So this question is a fundamental question for any business, right? So that's how it is. Now, obviously, there is seriously nothing wrong calling a student as a customer, right? So that's how it is. I mean, if somebody says, sir, how we are a customer, I would probably smile at you because we are living in an era of commercialization. You're not living 60, 70 years back wherein education was perceived to be a noble charitable service. Okay. Yes, education is no longer a charitable service. Healthcare is no longer a charitable service. These have become most emerging commercial services. Okay, so from that perspective, yes, there's a relationship of a business and a customer between a student and an educational institution. Yes, and yes, there are educational institutions who still work on certain value system, who do offer programs at a reasonable price, but not free of cost. Okay, so we are offering you this program and other programs at a very reasonable price because we also want to have some ethical consideration and keeping in mind the value system which the uh, founders of this organization believe in. But you cannot deny the fact that there is no customer business relationship between us. So that's how it is, right? And that's how it works. So you need to ask these questions to get more insights about your customers. And this is something which Netflix did not contemplate on properly. Because when you look at here, it says demographic, geographic, psychographic. A lot of elements are involved here, right? Demography is the study of population. So we study what is the income, what is the disposable income, what is the savings, what is the standard of living, and what is the gender, all that. And this is where Netflix went wrong. Did not understand the income earning capacity and did not keep the pricing based on that. Did not understand the mentality of Indian customers, psychographic characteristics, right? And if this question was properly scrutinized, and if the answer was found for this question effectively, Netflix would not have landed in the trouble the way it is struggling now. We don't know when it'll decide to call off its operations in India because it's not doing any money and not making any profit at the moment, right? So this is an important question that needs to be answered. Who actually purchases our products? This is an important question for a simple reason that customer and consumer are different, something which you are already familiar because most of you are working executives. So you know who your customer is and who's your consumer. So consumer is basically the end user, but customer is the one who make the decisions, especially the financial decisions. So if you understand this properly and try to establish a difference between who actually purchases it and who actually uses it, you can design your strategies efficiently. If I ask you a question, most of you have seen the marketing campaign of Byju's, especially during IPL, right? Lockdown, we have seen a lot of ads of edtech companies. So Byju ads that features Shah Rukh Khan, is it targeting the user, that is the children, or is it targeting the parents, that is the customer? Who do you think is the target in their ads? Customers, that is the parents, or the users, the children? The answer is it's the customers, the parents. Shah Rukh Khan trying to convince parents that yes, this is what will happen when you use Baiju. Your child will become Albert Einstein, right? So that's the kind of a message which is given in the ads. But on the other hand, let me ask you another question from another product. Now, this is a very tricky product, right? This is a product which is exclusively designed by keeping the psychological behavior of kids. That's the reason that first question is an important question, understanding the psychographic characteristics. I am referring to Kinder Joy. Kinder Joy, from the viewpoint of parents, is a useless product. But for a child, it's a treasure, right? So in Kinder Joy ads, who are being targeted? Is it the parent or is it the child? Is it the customer or is it the user, consumer? Right? So what do you get in Kinder Joy? You have some small quantity of chocolate, right? And then you have the toy. By looking at toy, the parents' blood will boil. But child is very excited. Child is very happy because he finds some great utility in that toy. And the packaging is also so attractive. Right? So that's the point I want to make, because there are many questions. I might not be able to go through all the questions because we can have 1 hour of discussion on each of these questions. They're so crucial and important. So if you answer these questions, automatically you get a complete insights of your customers. So that's the reason this 5W model is quite a popular model of uh, understanding the customer, right? So when it comes to Byju's, yes, it is the parents who are being targeted and they are the customers, they are not the end users. But when it comes to Kinder Joy, it's not the parents, but it is the child who's being targeted. So the child will convince the parent to buy the product. But in Baiju, the ad is convincing the parent to get the product for the child. So you need to understand this dynamics, right? So that's the reason this who is a very interesting part of the customer analysis, right? And how smart the companies are. They know whom to target and how to target. And believe me, some companies target both. Now, when we talk about our institution, St. Joseph's College, who are our current customers? The answer is all the youths, right, with the appropriate age. So there is an age, generally we get students of only that particular age, right? So somebody who studies degree would be definitely between 18 to 21 or 17 to 21. And that's what we have in the entire campus. But can we say even working executives can be our potential customers? Can we also say that working women, homemakers, senior citizens can also be our potential customers? Can we say like this? If you want to consider even working professionals also as your customers, then you need to offer a product for them. So do we have any product designed for working professionals? All our products, which in terms of degrees I'm talking, whether it is BCom, BBA, BSc, BA, all these are exclusively designed for the students of a certain age. But we don't have any programs exclusively designed for working professionals. So we are not offering anything. But can we do so? Because that is missing. So that can be our potential. Because we can collaborate with edtech companies like Uprad, right? So we can collaborate with them and offer online programs for working professionals. So that is something which is missing at the moment. So that is also something what you are answering as a part of this so-called 5W analysis. So there are other sub questions which are part of this. So that is something which you need to answer. So first sub question says, who are the demographic, geographic, and psychographic? What are these? What are the demographic, geographic, and psychographic characteristics of our customers? So you are studying 3 different dimensions here in terms of psychology, in terms of the customer's demographic characteristics, And in terms of characteristics arising on account of different regions, you're trying to understand. So when we say demography, demography in itself is a big concept. We also have demographic environment, which we need to study in the coming classes. So demography is basically the study of population and their characteristics. So when you say demographic, you're dividing the population on various attributes in terms of their education, gender, income, uh, in terms of whether they are working or not. So many aspects goes into demographic profiling of customers. So here you're basically identifying what is the demographic profile, what is the age group, what is the gender, what is the level of education. So you're basically trying to understand what kind of customers buy from you, right? And in terms of region, where are these sales coming primarily from? Where do your customers buy from in terms of geographical location? Are you getting sales more from cities, more from tier 2 cities, small towns, rural areas, whether it is from South India, North India, different parts? So that is the geographical aspect. Now, when we say psychographic characteristics, it involves what kind of personality types, what kind of learning capabilities your customers have, whether they are highly educated or not, whether they are literates or not, what is their motivation level, whether they are generation X, generation Y. All these are various psychological factors. So you're trying to understand what are the psychological factors or features of your customers. Who actually purchases our products? So here there are two different things. One, consumer is different and customer is different. Customer is the person who makes the decisions, who pays for the product. On the other hand, consumer is the end user. He's the one who actually uses the product. He's the one who derives satisfaction and utility from the product. So in case of you, your parents are the customers of our college, but you are the consumers of our college. Ultimately, you're studying, you're availing the service, you're the end user. But yes, your parents have paid your fee, so they become our customers. So they have also jointly decided with you that they wanted to enroll you in our institution. So who actually purchases our product? That's also an important question, because this question would help you in designing various other activities. So for example, in case if you are devising an advertisement campaign, should the advertisement campaign be designed towards targeting the student or the parents? Now you have seen the Byju's ad campaign in which we had Shah Rukh Khan featured in most of their ads. So these Byju's ads, were they targeting parents or students? Even though the students are consumers, but you would have realized that most of these Byju's ads, primary the target was parents, even though students were also focused in the ad, but the intention was to influence the parents to enroll their children in the uh, various programs what Baiju offers. So therefore, that's the reason why you need to answer this question. Who actually purchases our products? How do these purchases differ from users of our products? So what's the difference between customers and consumers? What are their characteristics? That is something you need to answer in this question. Who are the major influencers of purchase decisions? So this is another interesting question, especially in the context of India, wherein we have a strong family system. In India, we have a strong family system, a similar kind of strong family system. You might not find it in Western countries. India has a strong family system, and all the decisions are taken by father or mother who takes the major decisions. The major decisions are taken by mother. Mother plays an important role in the management of family and decision making process. And that's one of the reason why you see in the context of India, most of the ad campaigns
revolves around mothers, specifically in the context of fast moving consumer goods, home appliances, right? You see, mother is the central figure in the ad campaigns. So whether it is a Rin or whether it is Tide or whether it is a refrigerator or a washing machine, you see the influence there. So if mother is a major purchase decision maker of the family, then of course your ads should focus and target them, right? So that's the reason why you're trying to understand who's a major person who's influencing purchase decisions. That's an important answer to figure out, right? And then the next question, who is financially responsible for making the decisions? So here sometimes it's a combination of both. Either mother or father can do a financial decision depending on who's the earner in the family. So if mother is a homemaker, then of course father will have an important role to play here. But in case if mother is also earning, uh, father is also earning, then yes, of course, both mother and father will have that freedom of making choices. So it all depends. That's the reason demography also plays an important role. In the first question itself, we are trying to figure out what categories of customers we have in terms of economic status, level of education, their employability. So we get an idea about that. And considering the fact that most of the recent generation, especially in the context of urban areas, we find both mother and father are educated and both are working. So both have the financial ability to make financial decision pertaining to purchases.
So,
Yes.
I have a class at 10, so can I
Yeah,
go?
you can leave. You can leave the meeting, and after you finish your classes, later you can go through the recording.
So, will I get attendance for both classes?
Yes, I'll consider that.
Thank you, sir.
So this is a question which tries to figure out the source from where the customer procures our products, which is an important aspect. From what types of vendors are our products purchased? So whether the customer buys our products from small stores, or does he buy from big supermarkets, or is he buying from online platforms? That is the question that needs to be answered here. Does e-commerce have an effect on the purchase of our products? If the sales are primarily originating from e-commerce, then of course it has an effect. So you have to strengthen your e-commerce presence. But if the sales are hardly coming from e-commerce platform, then what's the point in spending a lot of money in collaborating with the marketplace providers like Amazon and Flipkart if you're not able to generate sales from them? In that case, probably you can think of an alternative strategy, right? So that's the reason why you need to figure out whether e-commerce has a role to play or not. Are our customers increasing their purchases from non-store outlets? So it all depends. There are so many factors that influences from where the customer buys. Number of factors are there, right? E-commerce, in order to provide products through e-commerce platform, you also need to have infrastructure and resources, which you may find definitely in cities and small towns, but remote areas, rural areas where there is no electricity also, things becomes quite challenging. So obviously there you have to focus on store formats, you have to focus on offline formats. So it all depends on various reasons. Sometimes convenience is also important, and not necessarily only educated customers buy from online. There is absolutely doesn't make sense in making this statement and claim that only educated buy online. Education has nothing much to do with your decision to buy online or offline. It's a matter of convenience, and at times it's a matter of personal belief also. There are some people, who are not at all comfortable in buying online because they always want to see, feel the product and then want to buy. So it all depends. There are so many reasons as to why customer decides which platform he wants to buy, whether online or offline. So many factors influence this decision. So all those factors need to be scrutinized by the marketer. What do customers do with our products? Obviously, customers try to derive the utility by consuming the products. So, but there are certain questions which are part of this. First one is in what quantities and in what combinations are the products purchased. Sometimes the product might be a primary product, but for which you need some additional supplements, you need to combine this main product with some other products. So that's the reason the question of combination has come into picture here. Right, and quantity depends on the nature of the product. Obviously, I cannot ask this question for refrigerator. Refrigerator customer will buy only one and probably two refrigerators in his entire lifetime. But there are other products which we repeat the purchases on a daily basis, we buy them. Right, it depends on what product it is. Right, and what about the usage? Heavy users or light users? So heavy users and light users also depends on various factors. If you take car, obviously if you're using a car in your family and if you're using it for a certain purpose, then you become a light user. The same car can be bought by Ola and Uber. They become the heavy users of our product. So that also depends. And do you need any complementary products during the consumption? And if yes, what are those complementary products required to consume our main product? So certain products needs complementary products, right? It depends on what kind of product it is, especially in the consumption of alcohol. Alcohol is obviously complemented with some other sorts of snacks, right? So people hardly consume exclusive alcohol. Some snacks are required. So what are those? And are they important? Can it be consumed without it? So all these questions you need to ask. And you need to figure out how does it affect the demand of the main product. In the absence of non-availability of complementary product, will it have a severe impact on the main product? So that is also extremely important. What do our customers do with our products after consumption? So what is their behavior after consumption? When it comes to disposal, when it comes to feedback, so that also needs to be scrutinized. So are our customers recycling our products or packaging? Usually customers, as a customers, do we do all this? The answer is we don't bother much about, right? We just throw the containers, the packages, generally what we get after consuming. So we are not very focused whether this will harm the environment. If I dispose this in irresponsible way, it will not be good for the environment. Such thoughts hardly come into our mind. By and large, only few people are concerned about the packaging and its impact on the environment. Otherwise, customers are okay, right? But slowly, more and more customers are now becoming a little more conscious, and they are not actually polluting the environment by irresponsibly disposing the products after usage. So, but this also is important question, right? Because there are possibility that a manufacturer or a marketer can make container in such a way that it can be reused again and again. That is also possible. And in the Indian context, we always like reusable containers. That is something what we have seen here in India, because we try to derive maximum utility from the product. So in case if I'm giving you Horlicks in a glass or a contour bottle, after using that Horlicks, the glass bottle will not be thrown in the dustbin. It will be reused in the kitchen by your mother, right? So when you visit a typical Indian kitchen, you will find a lot of uh, packages which are actually not purchased by the customer exclusively, but they are basically packages which the customer would have got, and the same packages are being reused now. So if that is the case, then yes, the marketer can focus on this aspect. Probably the glass container in which you're giving Horlicks can be designed in the form of a mug, right? Which the customer can reuse it after consumption of the main product. So that's the reason packaging also is important to understand the psychology of the customers. When do customers purchase our products? So whether it is seasonal or not, and to what extent do promotional events affect the product purchase and consumption? So this data has to be monitored every time you roll out a new promotional campaign, advertisement campaign. You need to find out whether it has really impacted the customers or not, which can be clearly understood by the sales. If a particular campaign is being rolled out and if the campaign has successfully reached the target audience, it should result in increased sales. In case if it is not resulting in increased sales, then obviously it means your promotional events were not efficient enough to induce consumptions in the customer. So do the purchase and consumption of our products vary based on changes in physical, social surrounding, time perceptions, or purchase tasks? So basically you're trying to figure out what are the factors influencing the purchase and consumption. In terms of physical, yes, when we say weather, obviously now we are heading towards summer, right? Right now we don't need an air conditioner or a fan at home for say, but it might not be the same condition in the month of March. So in the month of March, definitely the sales for air conditioners and fans would definitely go up. And let's say if you're staying in a city like Delhi, where the population levels have breached the safety norms, definitely you might need an air purifier at your home also, right? So that's the point. Sometimes our decision to buy a particular product comes from an external force. Why are you buying all these products? Because the physical environment has changed, as a result of which you're buying this. Not it's because there is an internal requirement. It's more of an external force that is driving the sales, right? So that is also something which is worth understanding.